a legend of one man who persuaded his friends to watch every Godzilla movie ever made. This world is on the brink of destruction. We need you now, Godzillavangelists! Godzillavangelists, a Geek Stew Network podcast, produced and hosted by Ryan Sargent, featuring Sam Schlenker and Joanna Brodecki. I have a behind-the-scenes story for this movie. A story of tragedy, crime, redemption, disappointment.
Wow, sounds like The Godfather. I'm ready.
So they made a new Godzilla suit for this movie, but they were planning to use the previous one for stunt work. You know, just like throw the explosions at it, dump it in the water, all that stuff. But during production, it was stolen off the Toho Studios lot, which led to a nationwide search for the costume. And they even promised immunity if the thieves turned it in.
No way.
And it was eventually discovered by an old woman trawling Lake Okutama, and she was terrified to find it, apparently. And the suit was in such bad condition that the crew was actually disappointed to have it back because it was so much work to get it ready for filming. They may as well have just built a new one in the first place.
Wait, did they ever find who took it?
No.
Bunch of teens.
Never caught.
The perfect crime.
Really. So my question for you is this.
Oh boy.
If you had stolen the Godzilla suit, what would you ransom it back for? What would your ransom price be?
I would sell it to Disney for $20 million to do Godzilla on Ice.
I'd insist on wearing the suit. I'm the new Godzilla.
Fire the other guy.
And we're doing it my way.
I think that, I mean, I would keep it too. I mean, think about all the fun things you could do in a Godzilla suit just wandering around the city.
But it's quite small, right?
It is. Well, you know what's funny is discovering the suit in a lake.
Yeah.
Is probably the most exciting outcome. It's just like,
yeah.
What is you think it's the real Godzilla really far away, and then you discover it's just a tiny human-sized Godzilla suit.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, he's shorter than I imagined.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's a Tom Cruise situation. He seems to be perfectly tall in these movies.
Big personality, though.
He always has an apple box on set, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he's got to stand next to tall actors.
Yeah, Mothra is actually, she's 5'10". And so Godzilla, got to put him in a box or dig a trench for Mothra.
Right. To no one's surprise, today's movie is 1992's Godzilla vs. Mothra. And today, to talk about it with us, is a new guest, Jess Morse, a production manager for Tapas Media, a writer, a good friend of mine.
Ooh.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. My manager loves Godzilla, so I got the sign off. Shout out to Hayden.
Got official approval. So I have to ask this of every new guest we have on. Jess, what was your Godzilla experience before this movie? What movies have you seen? What were your feelings on him?
Yeah, I'm a big Godzilla fan, despite probably not having seen that many Godzilla movies. You know, I like him as a personality. I've definitely seen some of the old ones. I must have seen the original Japanese Godzilla, and I saw the one with Planet X.
Oh, yeah.
That's one, right? I remember Planet X more than anything else that happened in that movie. And I saw Godzilla vs. Kong, the new one, or Kong vs. Godzilla, I don't remember. That's how much I remember that movie. Which I was very much rooting for Godzilla.
As you should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear that is the wrong way to feel in that movie, because it's trying to get you to like Kong.
They want you to. We can get the podcast isn't about that. movie, but I mean, to have Godzilla, who is, right, a product of like nuclear radiation caused by the United States, to have him like be the villain in the American Godzilla versus Kong movie, like, and with no mention of that, I don't know to get into it, but
yeah, and there's been no American Godzilla movie where they properly address that.
I know.
So, you know.
And they never will.
my man Godzilla, he was just swimming around, showing up, and he just swam so fast. I was very impressed by how fast he could swim.
Great swimmer.
Yeah.
Good, like, shark impression.
Yeah.
You know who's in that movie? Sam.
Does Sam not know who was in that movie?
No, Sam is in the movie.
Sam is in the movie.
Sam is in the movie
Yeah.
as
Briefly. As Godzilla. So I'm glad that you I'm glad that I won you over.
yeah, you brought a humanity to it.
No, I am a voice of an old-timey like newsman in the opening sequence.
That's great. Gonna have to boot up HBO Max and watch it all over again.
But to get back to Mothra versus Godzilla, as I said last time, in the late 80s, Toho had this market research out, and it showed that Mothra was the monster most popular with Japanese women. However, they almost instead did a direct sequel to the previous movie, which was like King Ghidorah's Revenge, just because it made so much money. But ladies, you had your time in the sun, because even more market research came out and showed that women made a much larger percentage of the Japanese movie market. So they're like, all right,
Nice.
we'll do Mothra.
Mothra, pink capitalism spokesperson.
I never knew how much they were relying on this market research. Like, it always feels like a fake thing in a movie. They're like the market, but they're really leaning on it.
That's great. Pink pussy hat Mothra.
I can't believe that like people. I feel like when they got that survey, this market research survey comes out, and it's like, ladies, we want to know what kind, which is your favorite. And okay, monster. Yeah. Of these six, it's like, I guess Mothra. is number one. I just can't imagine that you had like diehard Mothra fans. Like, I don't see like I don't see it being like a do we go see a Jennifer Garner movie or the new Mothra movie?
Do we know what other monsters were options? Because I can't. If I was gonna name Godzilla monsters, Mothra would definitely make the list of the three I could remember.
And they put Rodan in the one after this one, so
No, Ryan, no, don't tell me that.
it's okay. It's not about Rodan.
I'm busy for the next 6 months.
That's because market research showed that Rodan was most popular among 33 to 49-year-old serial killers, and those make up a large portion of the movie-going audience in Japan at the time.
Exactly.
Well, Toho certainly did not regret their choice. This movie was the top domestic film of 1993 in Japan. Wow. And number 6 overall, only behind Jurassic Park and a few other American movies.
Wow. I mean, Jurassic Park and Godzilla vs. Mothra in the same summer. I mean, the dino heads were going nuts, losing it.
It made more than 4 billion yen, and the success was so prominent that it kickstarted the discussions that would lead to the first American Godzilla movie eventually in 1998. So you can thank this one for Matthew Broderick's starring role.
Yes. I could kind of feel the vibe. I could kind of feel him about to edge on in while I was watching it.
He was like on set watching. I'd be like,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, actually, that market research survey had Matthew Broderick as number 2 most popular monster.
Among women only.
Yeah, right.
And then the last little tidbit is, as with the King Ghidorah movie, this one finally got its first U.S. release on good old VHS in 1998 under the title Godzilla and Mothra Battle for Earth. Who knows why, but that's all of there's about to say about this one.
Wait, Ryan, did you see this one or the original Mothra first in your childhood?
As I've mentioned, I was not allowed to see the 90s movies because they were too scary for
Oh,
6-year-old Ryan.
right.
So I saw the original first.
Okay.
But yeah, what's everybody's brief 3-line gut feeling on the movie?
What fun, and it would be the best Godzilla on Ice version of a film we've seen.
Weirdly, I know what you mean. It's got like those black and white.
The sparkles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so many sparkles.
The Cosmos outfits,
Ah,
that just is what figure skaters wear.
the slow, dramatic music. I could just see it choreographing itself.
Joanna, what would be last place? Least good Godzilla on Ice movie.
Probably anything with Rodan. Not that I remember much of the film at this point since we watched it 37 years ago, but I'm just going to say.
My impressions of the movie, cute Beanie Babies, Japanese Indiana Jones,
Oh, yes.
and that fight scene on the boat with no music, where they cut to the wide shot, that really made it for me. I was like, this is the movie I'm watching, with these two guys in a wide shot, kind of fighting, no music. Those are the highlights for me.
And you know they just did the rehearsal 10 minutes before.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you punch, I roll, no music.
I'm glad you brought up Indiana Jones because at the start I went, I've never seen Indiana Jones, but I think this is what it's all about.
Straight from Raiders of the Lost Ark. That movie, it's like, go in the temple, find the thing, things fall apart, race to get out of the collapsing temple, guns in your face.
Oh, perfect. I have been on the ride at Disney where that rock tumbles down at you at the end.
Yeah, they just like couldn't get a rock for this one, I guess.
So, Joanna, you currently live in the headspace that I was in as a child, where I'd only ridden the ride and had never seen Indiana Jones, like at 6 or 7. And I remember my dad, Raiders was on TV, and he was like, "Sam, come in here. What do you think this is?" And the movie starting. It was like the jungle opening, and then I'm like, "Oh, this is the ride." And he's like, "Yeah, this is Indiana Jones," and we watched it. But the whole time I was operating on how does this compare to the ride? And so I love that like now I've lost that, and that's all out the window, and all I know is these movies. But you still live in that world where you only know it based on the ride. You don't know what these movies are about.
No idea.
Wow.
So Sam, you were thinking where's the giant snake?
Yeah, I was like, where's the giant snake? Where's the Temple of the Forbidden Eye?
When I saw my dad showed us me and my sister, Indiana Jones when we were kids, and my sister kept having to we'd have to pause it every 30 seconds because she had to get up to pee. And by the 5th time she comes back, she goes, "Exciting movies make me pee!" And then we and then second is that as a kid, Temple of Doom was my favorite because it had Short Round in it, who was my favorite. He's a little kid, and he was Asian and I was Asian. I'm like, this is cool. And then you grow up and you're like, wow, that movie was really racist. Oops.
He was the reputation you had, not what you needed.
Yeah, he's just well, now that he's doing big things now. He's a grown-up acting.
He's big round.
He's big, yeah.
But as long as we're on this, I may as well say the thing I have to say about this scene. Other than that, it's the customary ripoff. All these 90s movies, Godzilla movies, have an elaborate ripoff of some popular American movie.
Nice.
But my thing I have to say is, when I first saw this and I was a stupid 10-year-old white boy, I was like, why are they arresting him? He's just taking this thing from this temple. Nobody was living there. Nobody wanted it. It's what's wrong with that?
Is there a law against manifest destiny?
Finders keepers. It's they don't even believe in finders keepers in this country.
Exactly.
Yes.
But, so my dad had to explain it to me, and I was like, oh, okay.
So to answer your question, Ryan, on how I felt about this, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was surprisingly solid in a lot of ways. And ultimately, it was all right.
All right. That's a nice, lightly pleasant, lukewarm vibe to dive into our synopsis.
Yeah, I'll save the negativity for the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrap it up. Leave on a low note.
The synopsis of Godzilla vs. Mothra. Sound effects at the ready.
It's a new sound effect.
A meteor crashes into the Pacific Ocean, awakening Godzilla and causing storms that reveal a giant egg on Infant Island.
Yeah, I'm an egg. Hey.
Later, explorer Takuya Fujito is arrested while pillaging a temple.
Da 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 da. Da da da.
He reluctantly agrees to help the Japanese government and Marutomo Company lead a joint expedition of Infant Island after they promise to get him released.
I'm not single. I'm divorced.
Along for the ride is Takuya's ex-wife Masako. And Marutomo exec Ando. After some misadventures, the trio find a pair of tiny women called the Cosmos, who explain that the island is all that remains of their once great civilization. Their people were all killed in a battle between two monsters created by the Earth itself, Mothra and Battra. The giant egg belongs to a new Mothra, and Ando, seeing the potential for revenue, convinces the Cosmos to let him take it to Japan for protection. Along the way, the freighter towing the egg is attacked by Godzilla, who gets drawn into a three-way battle between the hatchling Mothra and revived Battra. Godzilla and Battra are swallowed by an undersea volcano.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense.
While Mothra returns to Infant Island. The humans escape safely to Manila, where Takuya and Misako begin to reconnect.
Ooh.
The next morning, though, they find that Ando has stolen the Cosmos to help promote Marutomo business. The tiny women call for Mothra's aid, and she begins wrecking Japan.
Masuraya, Masuraya.
A regretful Ando attempts to return the Cosmos with Masako, but they've gone missing, double stolen by Takuya. He finally agrees to return the two to Mothra when his daughter Midori pleads with him.
I'm so cute.
Please.
However, Mothra weaves a cocoon in a preparation for a battle with a newly freed Battra, which breaks out over Yokohama's Cosmic World theme park, thereby giving Sam the theme park battle he wanted from these movies.
Thank you.
When Godzilla shows up, the two insects agree he is the biggest threat and team up to defeat the Big G. Unfortunately, Godzilla mortally wounds Battra during the final stage of the fight, and Mothra drops the two of them into the ocean before magically sealing them away. The kind monster then collects the Cosmos and heads into deep space to stop an even bigger meteor from hitting Earth in 1999. Great ending.
Yep.
Big impact, guys.
Definitely a sequence of events in succession.
Ryan, I am constantly impressed by how many plot convenience volcanoes there are in this series.
Well, they're in the Ring of Fire, aren't they?
Yeah, the
not?
Pacific Rim, it's no joke.
Yeah, some real shit, Sam.
It just feels like there's an awful lot of monsters stepping near volcanoes, which explains why they can't show up for a little bit. And then they show up later, sometimes in the next movie.
Just taking a break.
Dinosaurs and volcanoes, they go together like this. So it's a natural harmony, natural marriage.
That's the old expression. It goes together like dinosaurs and volcanoes.
Yeah.
Though they have like the whole branch of the government we see that's like the Godzilla tracking branch, or that one woman whose job is like to track Godzilla. But then Godzilla goes in the volcano and she's like, how is he surviving in there? It's like, don't you know by now? Godzilla go in volcano?
They never learn.
I know. Especially because he's been in a volcano in 2 of the last 3 movies.
I would love them to just cut to Godzilla hanging out comfortably, sipping tea in the inside of the volcano across from the Gargantuas. And they're all just hanging out. And they're like, how long do we stay down here?
Brad Pitt's there.
Brad Pitt. So attractive.
Well, shall we start with the characters as we are wont to do? Takuya, Japanese Indiana Jones.
He was fun.
He was fun. From the first part of the movie, you think he's... I mean, I guess in the end it all just devolves into monster fight. Or not devolves, but ends up being monster fight. But I feel like you think he's going to be more of a character from the beginning.
See, you'd always think. You always think.
But then it's like, no, we're going to focus on the monster fight. It's like, you know what, all right.
There's the tiniest plot thread that you can see the screenwriter wanting him to parallel his evolution with Mothra's evolution.
Yeah. He promises to be better dad. Good for him.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah, it's like, it pretty much just spontaneously changes when his daughter's like, Daddy, I don't want you to be a thief. Which, to be fair, is pretty guilt-inducing, but
Yeah.
stories are supposed to have a character arc, not a character straight line going up.
I loved the dynamic of the 3 of them on the island. I felt like I was watching some real life Scooby-Doo crew. When he pushed her in the water and then them all falling into the water, those beauty shots. I just thought that the 3 of them together, I could have... Anytime we got a fun crew on an island, I usually could just keep going with it for a bit longer than they have it.
They were a fun crew. I wish they stuck together a little more. I mean, Ando kind of like runs away. But yeah, they had like a good dynamic. Adventure guy, smart girl, business guy.
It writes itself.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching those Spider-Man kids. I was having so much fun.
Masako, what'd you think of Masako?
Oh, I liked her. I feel like compared to, what we've gotten in so many of these movies, she was fun. I thought that'd be a fun part to play, and I don't really often think that. So that was at least a win in some regard.
She's pretty much, she's kind of like a moral center without being like the typical like kind of preachy stereotype, like I don't know, like a Katara. She's just, she's snippy. She like yells at him. She's pissed that he's late on his child support, and she has her hair. It's Peggy from Mad Men post makeover. The little flip and the little bangs.
1,000%. Yeah. She was in with the team. A lot of times in these movies, the female's like, "What are we doing?" And so I appreciated that she wasn't like that. She had her job and she was doing it.
Now I will ask this, and this is rare, because usually I'm the one answering your questions. But I was somewhat unclear on why she was on the expedition. Like, eventually I got the sense she had a government job, but I was like, what? How, are you just here because this is your ex-husband?
Yeah.
Like,
very few like character introductions in this movie. You're gonna just sort of guess who people are. But yeah, I think she worked for like the environmental bureau or something.
Okay.
So she was part of the surveying of the island, which they go out there like, a meteor hit this island, near this island, go check it out, and then they're like, there's a big egg.
And they're not that alarmed by it. Like, immediately they're up scraping it. I also feel like, Ryan, in any of these movies, I'm always only like 60 to 80% certain why everyone's going wherever they're going. So I usually just wait for it to come eventually.
That's probably for the best.
I think early on, kind of, I alluded to this in my kind of general thoughts, but like early on, I was like, hey, it's 2 main characters who are somewhat bickering exes, where I am in the mildest amount intrigued by this dynamic. Now I was I feel like I may have been asking too much and hoping it would go anywhere beyond that, but you know what? I'm not gonna I'm not gonna question it. I'm gonna go, hey, look, it's two characters who have any kind of past, where there's any kind of like juicy conflict, and as opposed to just a bunch of people who are just being in a group individually and together for no reason. So on that level,
mildly related to the government.
Success.
You're right. This is a strong foundation as far as Godzilla movies go.
You go, okay, aren't these two moths kind of like bickering exes in their own special way? Is there some kind of parallel? Perhaps?
Wow.
Do they go anywhere beyond that? No, but that's okay.
The moths get closer to kissing than the couples do. Then I was lying, I was watching it last night alone, on my laptop, and Mothra flies down, and I just go, kiss. And they get close. They have a meaningful conversation at the very least.
They do have that, like, Tumblr hot topic type of relationship.
Yeah, it's the goth and, like, the...
Battra's the bad boy. They've, like, got a rivalry, but they really care about each other.
Yeah, and Godzilla's, like, an angry incel on the internet who's like, why do girls only like bad boys?
Godzilla really is just there to, like, be grumpy and, like, mess up other Reverend's day.
I'm a nice guy.
He's got a very small part in this movie. Basically, a plot device.
Just shows up.
And then we got Ando. Anything to say about poor old Ando?
He learned his lesson pretty fast.
He did.
He does.
Yeah.
He's on the island and he's like, wow. Like, everyone in the movie is like, humans really fucked up the Earth. And, like, him living on the island. And then for a second he forgets. And he goes back to his boss. And his boss is his boss is mean. And then he's like, oh, wait, I remember what I said on the island. Like, Earth, good. That's Ando. And he does the fight scene on the boat that I really like.
I liked his alarm clock bit.
Yeah.
When they were already up.
Yeah.
I forgot about which year they were in, because, they're always on an island in these movies for the last 40 years. Mm-hmm. But I like that he had his little alarm clock bit.
He was a real man of the 90s.
And then, of course, the Cosmos, which is the name for the twin fairies in this iteration. The original they were an act called the Peanuts, as we've talked about. And
right.
Believe me, these two are no peanuts, but they're serviceable.
Yeah, they don't look remotely like Charlie Brown.
They're all right. They did a good job speaking in unison.
Yeah, I couldn't tell why, but I got the sense that I liked the other ones better, but I really couldn't tell you why. Sam, do you remember?
I don't have strong feelings on either pair.
I feel like they didn't have a costume change at all. Didn't the other girls have fun costumes?
They did have fun costumes. I think the Peanuts are better actors.
They had two hairstyles in this. I noticed, because when they first meet them, they each have the long braid on one side, and then for most of the movie, they just have like the two buns, and then at the end, they go back to the braid. It's like, I don't know
back to the little braid.
Why you had to. I liked when they were singing. I liked that they accompanied Mothra's evolution transformation sequence.
Yeah, I liked that they started off, the box they were in was like looked like a diorama that I would make in 5th grade, and then they upgraded to some like fun
to a kitty carrier
backpack. Yeah, I was gonna say that I would try to get him for my old cat, but he's too fat.
Oh.
They made some real good moves. Yeah, they were. I mean, again, I like it. I'm happy they were in the movie. They bring that Mothra. What is Mothra without the Cosmos? I don't think. Not at all the same.
Very true. And then, in a very small part, but I have to call it out, our handsome boy Akira Takarada is back, now transformed into a silver fox.
Silver fox.
He's the scientist in the Godzilla watch department, the one who's always saying dire things about the environment.
Yeah, he's always like, the environment's fucked. We
so stressed.
can't do nothing. Where's Godzilla?
My favorite line of his is he's like, "The meteor was only a detonator. We laid the explosives," or something like that. I think it's slightly clunkier, but I'd like to think that's what he said.
Yeah.
Well, probably works better in the Japanese.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good fun one-liners in this one.
Oh, I love when he's like at the beginning where he's like, "If I agree to go on the mission, you'll set me free," and they go, "Yes," and he goes, "I refuse."
Right. I like when that little girl goes, "And I'll make my daddy get a real job." It's just like, was so, I don't know. She was funny.
She was classic adorable kaiju movie kid.
Yeah, we should end this, or like once we've watched all the movies, we should do a definitive ranking of child adorableness.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do a ranking episode where we rank different things, and we gotta do most adorable child.
Wasn't there an adorable kid in the original Mothra? Like, really adorable?
Yes, you guys always love how he hides in a paper mache chicken.
Yeah, he hides in a chicken. Yeah, he's number one.
Yes, the chicken. No, I also like that other kid, but this kid might win. Yeah, the chicken kid.
You can't beat the chicken.
No, that's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of old timer cameos in the series, so I won't bother calling most of them out, but Mr. Takarada, just had to mention him. So speaking of Takuya's like goofing around at the beginning of the movie, though, I love the bit where he eats the lemon slice without flinching to like prove he's tough or something. I was so amused that such a cute gesture was like, yeah, I'm not gonna break.
Yeah, it's like the thinnest lemon slice you could possibly see, though. It's like,
Yeah.
you turn it sideways and it's not there. You're just like, I'm not intimidated by my ex-wife. Say whatever you want.
I'm a lemon eater.
Yeah.
Mothra very cute in this.
Whoa. Ugly as hell before the transformation, though. Come on. How was that little girl not terrified? What?
Yeah. I'm actually just going to ask that we don't even talk about the larva at all.
I'll be honest. When it came out of the egg and it was a larva, I was like, I was really wanted it to be a moth, like full Mothra. I was like, I guess it makes sense that it would be like a little guy first. But I was like, God, like we gotta get into this cocoon as soon as we can.
And that ugly thing spinning that like weird purple cotton candy web. It was all very weird.
Yeah, I love him using or her using string shot against Godzilla's hyper beam.
I felt bad for Sam.
Sam
was having
terrible
flashbacks.
Negative.
Sam hates thinking about the Mothra larva spraying silk.
Yeah, I will say
the appearance.
The silking in this is better because it's a little like mistier and less ropey. The ropier silk is really, really heinous.
Ooh, the silk.
But why was Battra a larva to begin with? Like, why wasn't he just fully formed? I have a lot of thoughts. Battra feels like very perfunctory. It's just kind of like, yeah, they're enemies, they're fighting. Nah, no, but Godzilla, bigger enemy. Now we're friends, and that's kind of tragic. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man.
And tragic really quickly too. Like you're kind of like, did they communicate about?
Because they almost kiss, and then.
Right.
They talk with the little feelers. I thought Mothra might have some sort of like little empathy power or something of like, dudes, be my friend. I'm nice. Yeah. And then they go fight Godzilla, who's just watching. I don't know.
Why do we have a Mothra who has like a connection to the Peanuts, who aren't the Peanuts, the off-brand Peanuts, the almonds? Like we have that connection, and also we have a literal psychic also in the movie who's connecting with the monsters, but only not really. Like she's just kind of there.
But to go back, because there's something I wanted to call out. When Mothra first comes out of the egg, like the very first shot, it's like a very specific puppet, and the eyes are different. They're like opaque instead of like kind of translucent. Mm-hmm. And as a result, my first thought is always, why does she look like a chocolate bunny? You know those like chocolate rabbits that have like the blue sugar eyes?
Yeah.
She looks like very, very shiny milk chocolate with the blue eyes coming out of the Easter egg. It's like it's always the only thing I can think of.
So yes, it was a beautiful Easter egg, really. I was like, who dyed this? Is no one thinking about who dyed this? But yeah, Battra also doesn't get like a cocoon sequence. Battra really does Pokemon evolve. Which is just like, I got to a certain level. Whoop! I'm Battra now, who's also a moth. Who would have never would have seen it coming.
As a kid, my instinctual reasoning was like, oh, it's like the Sith. Like, it's easier for them to have that power. He doesn't have to go through transformation. But now I'm like, I don't think they thought it through them.
Battra is like supposed to be the protector of the Earth. Like, he was sent. Well, we're told that it's sent to take down the humans because they're harming the Earth. So really, we should be on Battra's side. But then Mothra is here to protect the cosmos and also the humans, and convinces...
And the Earth?
And also, and then at the very end when you learn, it's like, oh, Battra was just supposed to destroy this meteor. It's like, why did the whole movie happen then? Why didn't the Earth make another Battra to stop the other meteor that did crash into it?
That's true.
And it's
Earth
all
has gotten
coming
so
full
lazy.
circle.
I just want to say we should be on Battra's side. Also, Godzilla committed Batracide.
Wow.
Godzilla really was like, had nothing going on. I mean, the meteor like wakes him up and he's like, well, I'm awake. I guess I'll go attack this egg. Oh, there's something came out of it? Whoa.
So plasticky. He had the tiniest little teeth. Those little teeth didn't look like they could chomp anything.
Chomp
But he gets a big bite out of that bug.
He does, and the goo, the green goo that rushes
and
out.
the sound, seriously, the juiciest neck bites you'll ever hear. Like he's biting into a fucking grapefruit.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he's full of orange juice or kiwi juice or something.
Yeah, just spurts out. I feel like, Battra should have had a tougher exoskeleton than that.
Ryan, what'd you think of this intense Lisa Frank version of Mothra? You know, really, really glowed up.
I don't love it. She looks like she's made out of like a book of used carpet samples. What? Like her hair is like a little bit like matted, and it seems like they didn't clean it enough.
She's so mystical and magical.
Yeah, I loved her.
I have a childhood trauma story related to this Mothra in particular. After the first time I went to G-Fest, I got these packs of Godzilla trading cards from Japan, and I was so excited. And each one came with a magnet. And so I brought the magnets to school and put them on the inside of my locker. And I had one of like Mothra like coming out of the cocoon in this movie. And some 6th grade girl walked by my locker and said, "Is that a butterfly? That's so gay."
Oh man.
And I took all the magnets down because I couldn't stand to have it be made fun of anymore.
Oh.
And you didn't explain, no, Mothra's a girl, so it's literally not gay. It's the opposite.
Have you fucking heard of the Peanuts? Okay?
Market research proves.
This is supposed to appeal to you.
Yeah, you should like me more for this.
Oh, Mothra, she thought she was very cute. I was very pleased with, because I didn't really know what her design would be, but when she came out of that cocoon, I was like, yes, I love this. I love the bright colors. She's got a cute little Beanie Baby head. I was really into it.
She got more sparkly, right? Not her actual body, but she was getting more sparkle. Like, the whole second half of this movie felt riddled with sparkles or snow or whatever that was.
Yeah, they're like supposed to be scales coming off her wings, but it's literally just so much gold glitter.
Oh, it's so fun.
And it left me wondering, like, how did they get all that glitter off the Godzilla suit? That must have taken forever with all his little crevices in his skin.
Oh.
No, that's why they dunked it in the lake.
Yeah.
I find it funny that whenever Godzilla is airlifted or you know, in this case, or when he flies, or in this case, flown by the moth and the bat, he like always is in this like stiff as a board, like rigid, goofy pose where like his legs are like straight out, and it's like you could have. I mean, I know you can't physically have him struggling with the moths. Like I know just technically you can't. You're not gonna like fly the actor on wires and do that. But like, don't have his legs straight up like he's just like seized up and in a frozen moment. Like, have his like legs dangling or something. I don't know. Like, it's so funny. There's a reason why these are all GIFs, like on my GIF keyboard, is because like Godzilla flying or being carried through the air is like hysterical.
But see, I feel like there is no better way to do it, because if you have his legs going down, his leg's gonna look like it's coming up like a big dick. His tail, it looks like it's gonna look like it's coming up like a big dick.
Tail should
And
be
if you
down.
have him struggling, he's gonna look like a little baby, like throwing a tantrum in midair. So
Yeah.
it was the best of the bad options.
These are the debates that really count. People, leave your remarks in the comments, please. Let us know your thoughts. Thanks so much, fans. Ryan, are you with Mothra like the rest of us were with like Harry Potter at age 11? Like, I know it's not real, but what if? Just what if? And I guess you saw it later on, but I just imagine you seeing for this movie for the first time pre-1998 and just being like, but what if?
Well, I told you when we saw the original Mothra that I genuinely, with all my heart of heart, as a 7 or 8 year old, made a wish that the fairies would be real.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes.
Independent of Mothra?
Yeah.
Because they seem far, far less interesting or useful on their own.
Just looking for some little friends.
I just was a lonely little boy who had a crush on these twin psychic fairies.
That's like ordering the remote and not the TV.
Really gotta reiterate that fight scene with no music between the two. It's like they're saying like, oh, this isn't like there's gonna be a fight scenes with monsters, so we don't have to worry about scoring this or making it feel impactful at all. Also, our guy, they're on this huge ship with many people on the crew, and he's like, I myself am gonna run and release the barge from the ship. This is something I can do by myself. I both have the authority and the ability to do this. I'm some guy. I don't have any naval experience as far as we know. But I'm going to release the egg. And then the other guy's like, no, stop.
Yeah, it will also... They're not like... It's not a believable fight where you're like, oh, wow, they're... You know, that guy's scrambling to avoid the... It's like, it feels like there's like a moment where one of them is like gets up from being kind of quote unquote tackled and then goes, oh, my mark is over there, and like steps over and ducks under the rope. And it's like, well, okay, guys, like, we can do a little better fight than this.
They like... I mean, they must have gotten the monster... They have the monster fight coordinator, and they forgot to hire a human one. So they're like, yeah, can you like do this one too? And they're like, I only know about monster fights. Like, are they gonna be in costumes or anything?
Those two actors took an acting class. All right, they know how to throw a fake punch. Okay, I'm sure they felt really confident in what they were doing, as every actor does. They took Stage Combat 1 and Stage Combat 2. They knew what was up.
They did not take Stage Combat 3 though, boat fighting.
Not 3. Not on the water.
Yeah, they got land and air. They skip nautical.
Because which school can afford that, let's be honest, you know?
And, and there's the CEO guy, the boss guy, who just looks like Jackie Stiles from Seinfeld with that mustache. That's all I could think of. And he kind of talked like him, too, you know, like quick and curt. But there's a scene, it's when they're talking to the Cosmos, and he's like, you're going to be our spokespeople now. And they're like, what's going on? It just like ends. He's like, the guy's standing up, and he's just like, and then it cuts in the middle of like the fourth one, and it's just so funny.
Was he the guy who was like yelling things at one point? He was like,
He was the one guy who like wasn't on board with the environment thing.
He had a total like, I could have been I loved that.
I could have been a contender.
I was like, yeah, exactly. Good for that actor. Put that in your reel. Get your next gig, man.
I feel like he aspired to be a Dr. Taco type of character, but he didn't have the chops, so he had to go whiny and mean.
Yeah, he ended up being like a Dr. Flauta at best.
I love the Flauta.
I know, I do too.
Perhaps even a Dr. Tostada.
Tostadas are good.
Also, maybe better.
As Godzillavangelists, it is our proper duty to assign each movie its proper place in Godzilla heaven, hell, or purgatory. Hell being the worst, heaven being the best, and purgatory being in the middle. It has come time to judge Godzilla vs. Mothra. We'll start with Samuel.
All right. I had a journey watching the movie that went from, I've put a lot of movies in heaven that have been this good or even worse, so this is probably a heaven. I thought it was pretty good. And then by the end, I think it's purgatory. I'm going to go Purgs. I think it's got some good special effects for these. I thought it was pretty well made. I thought it was pretty well shot. I thought it was mostly pretty solid, and it had some good characters, at least in the setup where they had an idea. I don't know. It kind of fell flat. But I don't know. I think of several of these recent ones, I've kind of gone through a real emotional journey where I've gone, I don't know, what am I expecting? What am I expecting? So that's, I think that every single movie I go in being like, all right, we got another one of these. And then either they are like so dork balls and like kind of shoddy that I'm like, I mean, this is kind of fun for how like for it being crazy, but then it's not like a hilarious terrible movie. It's like, oh, it's kind of dork balls and so it's, yeah, it's all right. Whatever. And but I kind of it was fine. Or they start out and I go, this is pretty well made, and then it doesn't like actually. It's not an awesome movie. It's just all right. So they basically are all right, is what I'm getting at. They're all right. This one was all right. Purgatory.
Which is what you said at the beginning of the episode.
I'm explaining. I'm trying to explain.
Yeah. Intro paragraph, closing paragraph.
Look, this is getting like a padded out TV show. You need to character develop past this because you've done a variant of this speech in like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I say.
He's stuck in the 90s, okay? This is going to be his thing for the 90s, Ryan. Let him have it.
Each movie reminds me, because look, I'll have a different speech when the movies do something new.
Which will be never.
Look, you need to find the differences in the minutia.
Okay, there were some there were some good, nice things about it. Purgatory.
All right.
It was pretty good. I like this director. I like this director based on this and the 80s one he did. I think they're pretty sound.
Jess, how do you judge Godzilla versus Mothra?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I was trying to, like, after I watched it last night, immediately after I watched it, I go talk to my boyfriend, he's like, oh, do you watch the movie? How was it? And I was trying to explain what happened, and it was kind of like zigzags. I'm like, oh, this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and this, and this, and this, and then I guess then there was another meteorite, a second one. So yeah, I'd give it a purgatory, not a hell. I mean, it was fun for the most part. I like the singing. I like their little unison things. I guess the Cosmos and Mothra really did it for me. Everyone else was kind of at the beginning I had high hopes for like this crew, this adventuring island crew, like maybe they'll like have a little adventure, do a little character development, something will happen, and then that did not happen. But then it was just monster fights, which I don't know what I was expecting. Beyond that, yeah, I like that the couple doesn't get back together at the end. There's none of that, forced romance stuff. He's just like, I'll be a better dad, and Masako and the little girl are like, thanks, that'd be great. And Mothra goes into space, which why
great ending. God, I always forget.
Ending.
Yeah, I'm glad Mothra went to space. It is a bummer that she's not sticking around, but yeah, I'd give it a purgatory. This is the only Godzilla movie of this any sort of era that I've seen. I mean, before this it was like 60s, and when did the other one come out? 2021. So meeting in the middle, pleasantly
whelmed.
Yes, quite whelmed.
Pleasantly whelmed. I mean, you're all right. Like, this movie has one of the best starts of a Godzilla movie ever. Like, the first 15 minutes especially, it's like boom, 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 we're clicking in. Yeah, I'm a big softie for Mothra and all of the stuff that goes with her. So the movie does work for me on that front, and it has a strong start. But as I said, it feels like kind of cynical and pandering. Like, Godzilla was all about making money from the beginning, even the first one. But there was always like a spark of like, what else can we do with this while we're making money? And now we're getting into the era where like I don't necessarily feel that as much, which kind of bums me out.
Oh no, I hate this part of the movies when Ryan gets sad about Godzilla. Oh man, it's been happening a lot lately.
Is this your least favorite era?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he breathed. With audible resignation.
He looked down at his glass of whiskey.
But yeah, this more or less comes out the same as the last one for me, which I call Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah the perfect middle of the scale for me. This is like a notch above, but still in purgatory. All right, Joanna, take us home.
Purgatory. Maybe a little high purgatory. I feel like whereas Sam starts a movie and is like, all right, let's see what we got going on. This could be pretty good today. Mm-hmm. I start the movie and I hear a meteor and I go, oh God, this again. Here we go. So yeah, for the first bit on the island, I was enjoying the crew, and then, Mothra, she's pretty to Lisa Frank. The sparkles, also fun. And at the end of the day, there was just too much monster fighting in it for me. Not enough people.
For once, I agree with you guys. When it kicked off, because I remember this movie well enough to know like when the fight was starting. So like when Mothra and Battra are like dogfighting over the bridge, I checked the time and I'm like, wow, that's this early in the movie.
Always like 30 minutes in, and then the movie is an hour and 45 minutes long. I know the math that they're doing. So yeah, I'd say purgatory, a little high for the characters, but not quite heaven. But now looking back, I'm like, what have I given heaven to? Like 1998 and the one with the little boy. Like, was there anything else? I'll have to go back and look. And the first one.
We have. You guys have forgotten about the joys of the early 60s run. There's a lot of fun there.
Yeah, the fun on the island with the... Yeah.
But yeah, you just reminded me of one random compliment I'll drop here. I do love the bit where, like, the Godzilla and Battra rays are being deflected by Mothra's scales, and they're like bouncing around in her force field. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like
the
that.
effects were good. Mm-hmm. I was impressed because it was a combination. They still got Godzilla in the suit, and they still got the practical monsters, but they're like cut well so you can see like the people running and Godzilla's feet like in the background, and the lasers are good.
I thought I could see a string too at one point for Mothra, but I kind of enjoyed it. I was like, oh, we're in the nitty gritty. We're making art theater.
I'm reading a book. I won't talk about it too much because it's mostly about a movie we have yet to cover, but it's like a a set diary of filming a Godzilla movie, and I'm like, gosh, they just don't make them like that anymore. Like this relatively low budget, like practical seat of your pants, like special effects work. It just sounded so fun.
I have one compliment for it. I know I've said this on the last several, but really good explosions.
Koichi Kawakita, he could do the explosions.
He can, like, it has that, and like they're good textural, like they're complex explosions. It's like in early ones, it's kind of like there are some bursts, there's some fire, but these are like complex explosions right up on the suit, like just right next to Godzilla, and that's good. That's good stuff.
I think I clocked like 5 different shots where I saw the suit or puppet catch on fire, and I'm like, damn, they weren't playing around. All right, before we close out here, we're in need of some new fan messages. Please send them.
We're so needy.
Please.
We need you.
Tell us how you'd prefer Godzilla being carried in there. Come on.
Yes, straight legs, droopy legs, or kicking and screaming like a baby. Yeah, upside down.
A lot of options.
Oh, dangling by the tail is good. That makes more sense. Because then, all right, that's the answer.
Nice.
But I'll take a look at our Twitter posts and read some of the comments here. This was a post about the alternate ending of Godzilla vs. Biollante. And at Gojira Spouse, which I didn't notice until reading this comment.
You're supposed to be an expert.
Godzilla's spouse, after all. They say, it's a shame we didn't get this ending. It would have showed us that Godzilla is capable of appreciating beautiful things.
And I should know, because Godzilla is my husband.
I can see it. I don't know if that's genuine or sarcastic, but I love it either way, to be honest with you. And then I posted a picture of my Valentine's Day present from my wife, which was an amazing Godzilla-themed red velvet cake. And I asked people to say the best Godzilla gifts they ever got. And our good pal, up from the depths, showed off his Godzilla vs. Kong wallet that his girlfriend made. It's really cool.
Super cool.
Jess, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to talk about the big boy.
Yes, the big boy, the big G. Do you have anything to plug today?
I'd love to. You can. I wrote a book with some friends of mine. Some people Ryan knows, some people he doesn't know. It's called Bad Fan Fiction. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a bunch of poorly written fan fiction about a lot of random IP and real people sometimes.
Hell yeah.
I don't think Godzilla makes it in there. I think, but Sonic is in 4 times. So,
If you ever write a sequel, you gotta have me on to do a Godzilla.
oh, for sure.
And
Yeah. You also have to have me on also for Godzilla and Mothra.
Yeah.
we're gonna do a fan fiction episode later this year, so we gotta have you back on when we do it.
Yeah, please come back on.
Anyway, you can buy the book. Go to badfan.club to buy the book. You can also get the audiobook. It's on Bandcamp for like, I don't know, $4.
It's funny.
Do you like stories about me in high school falling in love with Marty McFly? Or more specifically, Marty McFly falling in love with me from high school? Check it out. We're both really good kissers.
Current day?
In the year 2012.
Oh, okay. Okay. Makes sense.
1985, Marty McFly, and me in 2012.
Okay, I got you.
Yes, because, I mean, I won't spoil it, but
Right.
I'm a super cool genius. So. That's bad fan fiction. Thanks for listening.
And dear Godzilla evangelists, please share us with your friends, your family, anyone who likes the weird, the monstrous, the magical. It's all for them. Share our posts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the whole shebang. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you get our episodes brand spanking new, fresh out of the upload oven. And yeah, send us a fan message, please. We need them. It's been so long since we've been out. It stings more than you think.
Begging. Ryan, you were really nailing the ending until we started begging. And with that,
You know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And yes, with that, keep spreading the word of Godzilla, everyone.
Amen.
Godzillavangelists is brought to you by me, Ryan Sargent, and my friends, Joanna Brodecki and Sam Schlenker. All our incredible music is composed by Robert Mai, and our wonderful artwork is drawn by Cassidy Stone. This episode was edited by Dylan Jones. Special thanks to our families, friends, and the wonderful artists who made the movies we talked about today. Godzillavangelists is a satirical, critical work, not affiliated or endorsed by Toho, Legendary Pictures, or anyone behind the Godzilla series. Visit our website at godzillavangelists.com. We're also on Twitter at GodzillaCast and Instagram at GodzillaVangelists. If you prefer to listen to us online, we have a YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you join us next episode. In the meantime, keep spreading the word of Godzilla.